These are 3 things that you need to do to become a better bowler. My name is Darren Tang, professional bowler on the PBA Tour. I'm here at South Point in Las Vegas, and I'm here to give you 3 tips for amateurs that will mightily improve your game. So first, we're gonna bring out Kyle for tip number 1. I'm gonna let him throw a shot first, let the professional eyes of the internet analyze his game, and I want you guys to let me know what you think we are going to target today with tip number 1. Now, if you guys need a little bit of time to go back and watch the video again, go ahead and do that. Go into the comment section, let me know what you think he needs to work on, his number 1 thing, other than hit the one in the front. All right, did you get it? If you did, awesome. If you didn't, that's okay, we're here to learn. This is gonna be tip number 1. So what Kyle does in his approach is very common amongst a lot of amateurs that I've worked with in the past. So I'm assuming that this might apply to you as well. When he gets into his swing, the ball gets way too far behind his head, and it doesn't allow him to get his hand behind the bowling ball like a lot of the PBA Tour pros. What we're gonna try to adjust today is get that ball position a little further behind his head instead of too far inside, because when it gets too far inside, the only way to go is the out. It comes around the body. We don't want that to come around the body, because when you get your hand on the outside on top of the ball, it's a very weak position and it's hard to create power. So if you wanna hook it like the pros, you gotta get your swing a little bit straighter so you can work the inside of the bowling ball. And that's what we're gonna try to do here. Now, what I want Kyle to do is to push a little more in front of him. So when you push to the right, that allows the swing to follow that direct path. So if it goes to the right, the swing's gonna end up behind you. So if we get that swing a little more in front of him, hopefully it's gonna line up with his head a little bit better. The goal is to get his push away straight. So what I'm gonna have Kyle do is visualize pushing to the left. Now what you might notice is the swing, if he accomplishes pushing it to the left, it might look straight. It's never gonna be exactly what you envision it to be, so you always wanna try to over-exaggerate it as much as possible. So we're gonna have Kyle try to push to the left, and we'll see where his swing ends up at the top. Now Kyle probably felt a little bit of an adjustment. His body's freaking out, going, hey, what's going on? And that's what you always want. You want to trick your body, because your body is always going to do what it's used to doing. So I would say every handful of shots, maybe 3, 4, 5 shots, you want to overdo it. Just remind yourself, hey, I'm working on this, let's do this. Because if you just keep throwing shots and you just keep thinking about the same thing, eventually your body's going to catch up to you. All right, Kyle, now let's really over-exaggerate this. I want you to feel like you're pushing it way to the left, and then we'll see where your swing ends up. Now sometimes we can push things a little too far. You see how far left he actually got it going? Now he created a really big figure 8 swing, and that's kind of getting away from what we want to accomplish. So depending on who you are and how fast you're able to fix things, I've worked with people that very mendable like Kyle can just do things on command, and other people have a really hard time getting their bodies to do what they want it to do. Depending on who you are, you just got to figure out how far you need to go. If you're overdoing it, just dial it back, and if you're having a hard time getting that feeling, maybe have somebody else with you to push you in that direction. All right, let's dial it back a little bit. Stay nice and loose with the swing and keep it nice and straight. And again, it's not gonna be an overnight process. If you don't see Kyle making that immediate switch, that change where the ball may be a whole ball inside of his head, it's not gonna directly line up on the very first day. It's something that we're gonna work on continuously. It'll get there one day as long as he works hard. And that's the main thing, just keep working hard. I want you guys to make sure to stay around for this final tip, because it's probably the most important one out of all of them. So for tip number 2, we have Chris. You may have seen him before. He made an appearance in Pro VM, and he's been wanting a lesson. So we're gonna do the same thing as earlier. I want you to guess what we're gonna work on with Chris today. We're gonna have him throw a shot, and let me know in the comment section what you think that we're gonna work on with Chris. Rewind the clip, watch it over again, let me know in the comment section what you think. Did you get it? No? Yeah? If not, that's how you prefaced it. Just to watch that shit all the time. All right, Chris. So what I've noticed is you're a little inconsistent.
Absolutely.
I want you to loosen up that arm swing. So we're gonna get to the apex or the peak of the push. Once you get to here, I just want you to feel nothing. I want you to loosen up that swing. That's gonna allow you to be more consistent, because loose muscles are fast muscles. The only way your swing is gonna get offline is if you introduce some external forces. Yeah, so it's basically muscling the swing. This is also very common in most lessons I've given. So That's one of the main things that I try to really enforce is just having a loose swing. So give it a shot. Again, once you get to that end of the push, just let it drop. Consistency is one of the main concerns when it comes to lessons and trying to improve. And it's a really good way to do it. Look at that. That's the most ball motion you've seen all day. Yeah, it actually shaped up really good. Chris actually struggles with getting his ball to hook. And Jesse always keeps pounding it into him because Jesse sees it more often than I do. He said, throw it slower, man, throw it slower. What Chris may not know is that when you get looser, your hand moves through the ball faster. And when your hand moves through the ball faster, you create more rev rate. And what does more rev rate give us? More hook! All right, Chris, let's try again. Now on this one, I want you to give me a scale of 1 to 10, how loose you feel on this one. About an 8?
Yeah.
All right. Earlier, he was definitely like a 1. It was like grip pressure, let's maul the holes, let's just give it, So he gave us an 8. I want you to feel like a 16.
16.
I always double it. You know, normally people are pretty realistic with themselves. They're like, yeah, it was like a 5, but he gave himself an 8. So make it feel like a 16. A 16 out of 10. Almost feel like you're gonna drop the ball. I don't want you to drop it, but if you do, that might be a fit issue. All right, he didn't quite get out of that one as good as the first two, but the first two did shape really well, and all he did was loosen up his swing. So if you're trying to hook it more, maybe that's one thing that you do, just loosen up your swing. Helps with consistency again. Repeating shots is the #1 thing in this game. We're gonna have Chris throw some more shots and just try to get as loose as humanly possible. Every shot's been fairly online so far as well, and that's what we're looking for. Are we good to go? He's thrown 3 really good ones. They've all struck. Oh wait, there's one more tip, the most important one. So we've given you 2 very, very valuable tips so far. Swing direction is really important, being loose as well. Those are the 2 key components to being consistent. Looseness, consistency, straight, loose, but we got one more for you. We're gonna bring Aiden in here, and again, I want you to guess what you think we're gonna work on with Aiden, and this is gonna be our 3rd and most important tip of the day. How good are you? Do you think you know what we're gonna work on today? Again, rewind the video, watch the shot again, let us know in the comment section below. We'll give you a minute. Do you think you know what you're working on today?
No.
He's got no clue. You guys have no clue. I have the only clue. It starts with a B, and it's not bad. We are working on balance. Balance is one of the most important things in repeating shots. If you add all the tips together, you're gonna have a really good chance to shoot some really high scores. Nice stats you finish at the line, like Randy Peterson likes to say. Super corny. Sometimes it's just a conscious effort to just post your shot at the line. Other times it's, you know, things throughout the approach that lead up to lack of balance at the line. So let's throw a shot, see what we can do. Throw it however you want, try to post your shot the best you can. Now tips 1 and 2 actually help a lot with tip number 3. Really good. Sometimes it really is just making a conscious effort to post a shot at the line. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to hit it harder, trying to throw it down the lane as hard as we can, that we're not even thinking about the foundation. If we don't have a strong foundation at the line, there's no way we can repeat shots, shot after shot after shot. So if you have a straight swing, a loose swing, and good balance, those are all keys to success in bowling. If you look at almost every single professional athlete, every Hall of Famer, they've got straight swings, they have great balance, and this is what we're trying to achieve with Aiden here. Now Aiden's actually been working on trying to hit the ball a little bit harder, so that can contribute to his lack of balance at the line. But so far so good. You know, when you get to the line, things that really go into having good balance, you don't want to have a good knee bend. You want everything moving forward. You don't want to have too many pieces moving left or right. You don't want to get too twisted at the line. Aiden's doing a really good job of staying nice and forward with the lane. Because the lane's actually a lot more narrow than it seems. So if you get pieces moving left or right, you don't want those lateral movements because that's going to lead to inconsistencies. And that's not what Aiden wants. That's not what Chris wants. That's not what Kyle wants. That's not what Darren wants. And Darren wants you to be great. Great stuff. You know, it's not always going to translate to the best results. Just because you post a shot doesn't mean that you're going to strike every time. But I guarantee you it's gonna increase your chances of striking more often if you post your shot rather than falling off every so often or all the time. All right, well, that's gonna do it for our 3 tips. Don't forget it, tip number 1, you wanna have a straight swing, as straight as possible. Keep that ball nice in line with your head. Tip number 2, you wanna be nice and loose because you can repeat more shots if you're loose. If you're squeezing the heck out of the ball, it's gonna be really hard to repeat that and get out of the ball consistently. And the most important tip, tip number 3, is balance. You combine all 3 of those things, you're gonna be very successful. I promise you, keep working hard out there, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, like the video because it helps the algorithm, and let us know if you wanna see more educational content. Thanks for watching.